What's going on, everybody? It is March 12th, 2024, daily log episode over NQ in the live stream review. If you guys watched today's live stream, I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope you understand the emphasis on why I put it on, not trading, not engaging with price. I know there's some negative comments here and there, and I know I may say things to them. And obviously, if you question why I do that, it's because I don't want anybody believing that you're doing the wrong thing by sitting out of environments like this, and you shouldn't be influenced by other people to be trading environments like today. It's not something that is optimal, something that over a long period of time, you're not going to be successful doing it. I promise you. I have 6 years of experience doing this. I've seen many people try to do it. They're not successful doing it. So it's also when I say these things to people that are in the chat that may say something negative to me, overall, when I'm teaching and I'm guiding others, you have to realize as well, when I'm staying out of a condition like today, there's 700 plus people, thousands of people in general that watch me. And it would be stupid of me to go into the market and try to push an environment like today. Even winning would be a stupid idea to influence all of you to believe that you can do the same. Even gun to my head and I had to trade today, I don't think I would have been successful at doing so. There may be times where I may be able to, or you may be able to, but that's that false belief, right? That's the same thing as you breaking your rules and you end up winning. That's not a win because eventually it's going to come back and bite you. So I want you all to understand that. I don't mean to overreact by any means to any negative comments, but you have to realize that the position that I'm in, I'm trying to at least expel those disbeliefs for some people that may buy into that or may not. Obviously, I know a lot of you don't, but it's to really just help the audience. And I know, of course, I'm human. I overreact to some things, so I do apologize. But overall, I hope you guys understood what happened today, and I'll go over it and we'll go in depth with it. So I just want to start out with that and clean slate. Okay, this is my last week of doing it. I want to be as cool, calm, collected. So looking at the weekly time frame, we have this down close candle, which is our weekly bullish order block. So we extend out the mean threshold of that. We're still utilizing it. So what does that mean? I can't automatically, even though on lower time frames there's some sell side and I could see that possibly being ran. What's kind of the thing I covered yesterday where it is a profile? You know, CJ, how do you know when relative equal lows will be left? Well, if you're inside of a higher time frame PD array, example like this one here, and you can see the relative equal lows, even though I'm not on a daily chart, 4 hour, 1 hour, you can see their relative equal lows in here. And that's what maybe ran out, but it may not. This may be left because we're still reacting off of this bullish order block in here. It's a reclaimed bullish order block. So if that gets left, you have to understand that that is the purpose of it. That's the reasoning behind it. It's utilizing that higher time frame PD array, and it may send price higher. So an instance where you wonder why relative equal highs, relative equal lows are left, why they're created, why liquidity is engineered, that's one part of it. But there's multiple factors. This is just one example of it where I can obviously draw a clear example from it. So we'll see what happens. I'm not set in stone. I don't know. We have CPI tomorrow. This thing could fly 500 handles one way, could fly 500 handles the other way. CPI, I steer clear. I'm recommending it to all of you to steer clear of it. Wait for the open, wait for the 30 minutes of the open to pass, wait for the silver bullet. Our rules do not change. I do not mold my rules just because of some news event drivers playing out. I stick with the same bias, same rules, same everything. I want consistency within my equity curve. I want consistency within my own rules and everything that I do. So you have to maintain it. You can't just, color outside the lines here and there and, get lucky and woohoo. That's not how this works. Because eventually it will always come back and bite you. It always will. I've experienced it time and time and again, and I'm trying my best to emphasize it to all of you. So the daily time frame it's a little sloppy in here. And this is what I was anticipating today. What did we talk about? How are we able to predict something like today? And I've mentioned it over and over, and I know it can get boring over a long period of time, but when you roll off of NFP and you're rolling into a Monday with no economic news driver events and you have CPI tomorrow ahead of you, that gives me, and look at Friday, the expansion, that gives me the idea that probably price is going to be in a range and we're not going to be doing much. So I already knew this going into, if you watch yesterday's forecast, I already knew today was going to be a low probability day. So even though all the setups, everything on lower time frames, prices moving, people are reacting, boom, 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 I'm staying calm because I understand the profile. It's much like Medusa. It's going to want to basically seduce you getting into the market when nothing's really there. You're trading in nothing. ICT, I forget the space that he has, but you know, he's yelled at all of us. He's like, "What are you doing? You're trading in nothing. Get off the effing charts. You're trading an absolute, you know, aimless price action. There's no reason to be trading it. And there's only a few ways you can learn it, which is through experience, through what I sat with all of you today. Most mentors don't even do that, is being able to hold your hand through an environment like today and not even placing a trade. And B, just learning through experience that, hey, somebody's telling you not to do that. Somebody's giving you the keys, the ideas on when not to trade in these low probability environments. It's up to you to take that advice. Or C, you go into the environment and you take the losses, you take the pain, and you learn from it. I was that C option. I was super stubborn. I didn't want to learn from anybody else. And guess what? I had to hit my head on that wall a million times until I understood, hey man, you know what, this ain't working. It's never gonna work for me. So I have to steer clear of it. And if you're a smart person, you will learn from somebody else's mistakes, like mine, ICTs, other influencers, whoever it is, and gravitate with that, right? So looking at the daily time frame, I mean, it's just aimlessly trading. We're inside of a range in here. It's not clearly one-sided higher or lower. Gun in my head, I would look for the relative equilibrium there. There's a lot of sell side, but anything can happen with CPI. I have to adjust with whatever CPI gives me. So I would like to see if we'd want to go for the sell side. And after that, I would have to see how far price wants to reach for. And we discussed in the weekly forecast the discount arrays and things we'd look for underneath here. The open portion of this inefficiency, 50% of this wick, extend that out of time, sell side there, volume balance here, so sell side there, etc., right? So that's what I'd be keying off tomorrow. And just looking at if we trade off lower, you know, where is price going to go to? And sell side is resting in here. We have an inefficiency up there. Doesn't need to trade up into that. It could be a breakaway gap, nor would I be trading off of it. We have an inversion on this discount level here. You extend it out to your right. And we're inside of it currently. So nothing, this is kind of what I mean is when I'm marking up a chart, especially on a day like today, and a lot of you were like, well, why not sell here? Why not buy here? Why not do this? Why not do that? Because all of the levels really mean nothing to me. I don't trust them. My trust level in all the levels and the models that I see, even in today's session, is very low. I don't expect them to pan out. I don't expect myself to be right. I expect myself to take a loss. So guess what? The best option in these type of days, there's only two options in my head. Do not trade or take a loss. There's no C option where I win. There's no C option that exists within my mind. Like, oh, I could win today. No, there's two options on a day like today where I sit out, I do nothing, or B, I take a loss. And I chose that B option hundreds of times, thousands of times. And guess what? It doesn't work for me personally. And I bet for a lot of you, if you try to trade in today, you got your ass handed to you, which is fine. You're going to learn from it. And obviously try to take the advice I'm giving you and move forward in the future with it. I'm really not going to look at these lower time frames or the 1 hour. I'll go over the lower time frames, but as far as everything else, I mean, we'll just have to see what happens tomorrow and what price is giving me in the PA that is unfolded. I mean, if you look at the 1 hour time frame, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 hours in a range today, from 11 o'clock Eastern Standard Time to basically the close of today. I mean, do you really want to be inside of that? Is that a good mentor to tell you, hey man, you could really trade in this? That's something that you really want to risk your capital inside of. You want to invest in that? No, you don't. If I was out here telling you all to do that, I would be a terrible mentor. This would be stupid. I want you to realize the distinguish between a good mentor and a bad one and what they tell you to do versus not doing. And even ICT, he's kind of psyoped a lot of people into believing you can participate in these ranges. And it's not him. It's just he's so skillful he can do that. And a lot of people believe because they know his concepts, they can go into these markets and do what he's doing. You cannot. You don't have the skill set he has. You don't have 30 years of experience. You didn't create these concepts. You're a very amateur, sucky trader. And that's okay. Because once you humble yourself and you have humility, then you can understand, all right, well, I need to be very, very nimble. I need to pick my shots in the very best opportunity, high probability states. And if I can weed out these stupid days where I take unnecessary losses. Anybody telling you in here today, well, yeah, it's a loss today, it's fine. No, it's not fine. You shouldn't even be trading it. You should be able to just expel that from your trading equity curve altogether. You can expel that. Some losses are completely unnecessary and not something that you should be taking. If it's in a day where it's high probability, my model played out, everything was there, and I took a loss, then so be it. Then that to me is a reasonable loss to take. Otherwise, it's just stupid. I know I'm going on a rant today, but it's to emphasize this. It's when I get really animated like this, it's to emphasize the importance of not trading in something like this. It is the number one thing that has put me in the probability zone versus a loser. And regardless of what anybody else says or tries to pressure me on live stream to get into a trade, all I do is talk, blah, blah, blah. It is so important to not trade inside these environments. I have a track record. I proved to all of you that I've been able to trade and do well and sit out of these environments. It is so important, man. I can't stress it enough. I mean, it makes my heart hurt how much I want to stress to all of you not to trade inside of this. Looking at the 1 minute, just looking at the opening range of Silver Bullet in general, I saw one decent opportunity. And again, this is something that I don't feel any type of emotions about. I don't feel like, damn it, why did I not trade this? I don't feel it at all. Because when I deem something low probability, I'm automatically hands off, regardless of what plays out, regardless of the models, because everybody can look at the model that played out, but they're not looking at all the losses that you could have potentially taken. I could see plenty of times in here where anybody could have seen shorts, they could have seen longs, they could have shorted long. We went over this. People would try to go long, short, long, short, long. I mean, what are you supposed to be doing in here? What would be a reasonable trade idea? Nothing. There's nothing in here that's like, wow, you know what? That's a really good trade idea. No, it isn't. And if somebody got in here and they caught a small little move, well, congratulations. Guess what? You can 2-3 times X that in one trade on a good high probability day, and you don't have to do all this stupid work, As far as the Silver Bullet, only thing was in here, and I'm not covering this to say you should have taken it or it was a high probability setup, but it's just something that played out. That's it. It's just something that you have to emphasize when there's just something and when there's a model and there's something that you should have been a part of. So this is towards the end of the Silver Bullet, moving in kind of the end of Silver Bullet macro. And this here is a mitigation block, this up close candle here. So this is a huge difference between a mitigation and a breaker. Why is that, CJ? Well, if you look at a breaker pattern, you have a low, a high, you would have a lower low, then a higher high. But what do we have here? We have a higher low. So this is a higher low. The last up close candle is a mitigation block, not a breaker. There's a clear difference. It's not something ambiguous. It's something that's clear. It's right there. And there's a framework behind it. So we drop down into a discount. So looking at the swing low to that swing high, you're dropping down into a discount, mitigation block, fair value gap here. You expand higher, close above the SIBI here, turns into an inversion. You utilize that. Look at the bodies, the respect of it. Price gravitates higher, takes that buy side here and there. With CJ, that's a really clean model, man. Why didn't you trade that? Because I could have easily have seen something else today. I could have easily, when you look at this on another day, a different situation, you could have easily taken a loss. And we also have a lot of sell side that's resting beneath price. So anytime I have that, I'm not sitting here going, well, that's a really high probability long setup. No, when I have sell side like this, it makes me weary to even want to long something, especially with the condition that we're in today. It doesn't make any probability, sense to me. So again, this is all my style, but I hate to say this. I'm the one who is profitable, and I'm trying to teach all of you. If you're super stubborn, you don't want to learn, you don't want to listen to this information, fine. But trading inside of this and thinking that you're going to be successful over a long period of time, not just a day, not just a week, not just a month. I'm talking years. I'm talking 10 years. You're not going to be consistently profitable inside of these environments. I'm telling you that. No, if you saw that firsthand today, you took a bunch of losses. Again, this should resonate with you. From here on out, this is where things on the days before CPI, days where I deem it low probability, my precision is not there. Where we're taking out, we have this BISI here. I could have easily have seen where somebody would want to go long in here, stopped out. Oh, another inefficiency stopped out. Oh, we dropped down on this inefficiency in here. Okay, now we're going to trade the sell side. We're going to go right to sell side. Let me start shorting it. Stopped out. Oh, we're going up higher. Oh, we're trading into these premium civvies. Maybe it's going to sell off again. Stopped out. And then you're stuck in this range for hours on end. You're like, where's price going? Is it going higher? Is it going lower? What is it doing? Now you're switching. You're doing 10, 15, 20 positions in here. I mean, if I showed you my track record and then you saw 15 positions on a day where I was stating you shouldn't be trading, then that would be me lying. But when I show you track record where I say I'm not trading on a day and then there's 0 trades, well, that's congruency, right? That's me telling the truth. I'm congruent with my actions and my thoughts and the words that I say. So the reason I say that is because you need to look for that in a mentor. You can't just, hear somebody say all this. They may sound super smart, but what are their actions? What are they doing? It's a huge distinguish and a difference. I mean, from here, you're just meandering around. You're aimlessly trading, doing nothing. Anybody tells you in here that you should be trading, I mean, they can get lost. To me, it's not favorable. We take out buy side here. Okay, somebody wants to go short, stopped out. Price gravitates higher during the open, stops them out again. I mean, this to me is where the losers and the winners get separated. This is where I'm making the second lap around, and they think that they're just keeping up with me or whoever it is. But in reality, I'm making the second lap around them. And same with you guys. I mean, if you listen to this advice and you're doing this, I mean, you're going to full speed ahead around your competition, which in reality, it's all yourself. But at times I do get very competitive. And that's where at times if you get motivated by other people to get competitive, I don't see anything personally wrong with it. I mean, anytime I've had competition, I've always performed better. Personally, that's just the way I'm wired. So I hope you guys enjoyed today. I know it's very, very boring and it's the same things repeated over and over again, but I can't stress it enough, as I've said many times already. So that's going to be it for today's daily log. I hope you guys have been enjoying. Again, this is the last week that I'm doing all this free content. I'll be moving into a private platform on Friday. All the details will be released, so please be patient. Until then, good luck and good trading, everybody. Be safe.